PDP to the people.
PDP.
Maybe we should remind them that we have not forgotten our mandate. So maybe we should do Aswear for governor. PDP.
Aswear for governor.
Aswear for governor.
Okay for deputy.
Thank you very much. We decided to come out today. This is the media team of the Aswear Oge Campaign Management Council. I'm sure that some of the faces who are here, especially those of them who are here in front of me, are not very strange faces at all. Perhaps time will fail me to recognize each of them, but I'm sure that, especially for Honorable Shedrack Udubai, who is special advisor, and who is also special missile thrower, especially at the level of ITV, that is video that went viral, will not forget in a bit. Here is Honorable Tony Alile, one of our spokespersons, who has also done veritably well. On my left here is Chris Ojekere, who is very proficient with not just attacks, but with also defending the very laudable projects of Governor Godwin Obaseki. We have Roy Oriwabo, the 75-year-old man, because of his proverbs, who lives in a 40-something-year-old and a couple of other persons. I don't know if there are any other spokesperson. Okay, we have Barrister. Yes, there is Dennis. Oh, okay. Who is also there. So we'll go straight to the point. I'm sure there have been agitations by very many of our teaming supporters within and outside the shores of this country. And they're asking, where do we go from here? In Latin, they say, "Quo vadis?" What happens after now? And we thought that it would be necessary for us to break our silence, at least at the level of the media and as spokespersons of the Aswear Ighodalo Campaign Management Council. For us, in spite of what INEC announced, and we have made it abundantly clear that for us, this contestation was not a contestation between the All Progressive Conference, who have now been announced by INEC as winners of the election. The contestation for us was more of a contestation between the PDP and the security operatives in one hand, led by the Nigerian police, and then the Independent National Electoral Commission. Two of them were in cahoots together to rape democracy and to declare who they have now declared as the governor-elect in the just concluded September 21st election. But otherwise, how do you explain it? That the whole world followed on the IREV and saw the results on the IREV. If we wanted it to end this way, then there would have been no need to have introduced the IREV. As you may be well aware, the Form EC8A is the most important document in this election, because that is the form where the elections that took place in each of the over 4,000 units is imputed. That is the only form where real election takes place. Any other form, from EC8A, EC8B or C, are collation centers. So what we saw on the IREV was the posting of results at each of the units. And as at 9 o'clock on Saturday night, we are aware that 95% of the results of the over 4,000 units had already been posted on the IREV. So once it is posted on the IREV, the implication is that you can begin to do your own summations by yourself, which we did in our situation room. Because at the level of the word collation centers, as the word implies, it's a word collation center. You're only collating what has taken place at the unit result. Then from the word collation centers, you take it to the local government collation centers. When you have gotten your local government collation centers, you escort the result to the INEC office, where the results are announced local government per local government, for which you now arrive at who indeed won the elections. And like a very credible observer, monitoring teams have said, at the beginning of the election, at the unit level, the elections went smoothly, and everybody behaved themselves. Apparently, when the All Progressive Congress saw that they were losing, they moved to plan B or plan C or plan whatever it is. But my problem is not the All Progressive Congress, because, I mean, whoever it is wants to take advantage of a porous situation. My problem is the fact that it is impossible to rig an election. It is impossible to subvert the will of a people without the active collaboration of the Independent National Electoral Commission, who otherwise are the umpires of this election. And closely with them was the Nigeria police. We had no problem with Nigeria until we got to the collation centers. By the time we got to the collation centers, the lions and the tigers that we thought were the ones that we knew quickly transmogrified to becoming men of the Nigerian police who held guns and pointed it at agents and members of the People's Democratic Party, while they looked the other way for members of the All Progressive Congress to move into the collation centers, especially at the point where they said move the collation centers, move the collation of the result from the different collation centers of Ikobaoka, Ego, Oregu, to INEC office. You saw our deputy, our director general, Martin Oyekewe, on the outside. I mean, asking to go inside to know what was happening. All the agents of the All Progressive Congress were allowed, and beyond the agents, we saw how Tony Kabaka and his crew were moving into the INEC office to and fro. And see the INEC office in Edo State here. It's a department under the All Progressive Congress. You would have thought that INEC were umpires. But whilst they were fierce, and you could even see their very unfriendly approach to the governor of the state, whilst they allowed these guys to roam around, to go in and out, and to dictate how they want the elections to go. Clearly for us is that the president of this nation wants a one-party state. Because this is not an election, this is state capture. They captured the security agents, they captured the Independent National Electoral Commission. So because we already saw that, and we are jubilating, because by the time coalition had gotten to 95%, we had concluded that even if the 5% that was left, and everybody came to, all the 5% that was left, they all came to vote and voted for the APC, we would still have won that election with well over 45,000 votes until we got to the collation centers. And found what was happening. The real lions and tigers in uniform, who, and those are the kind of people that Fela referred to, in his song. He said, but I mean, animal in human skin. The real lions and tigers popped up. And found what was happening. One of them said to the people, the police officers that were there, we are here for a mission. If you can't stomach what we have come here to do, step aside. He's an AIG, and we know him because at the appropriate time we will start naming and shaming, because democracy must survive. And this is not democracy. This is democracy under the wings and caprices of one individual. And that's we hold the president of Nigeria responsible for the sham that happened, in Edo State. Because when he sat down and made that statement, that unstatemently statement, that we will give I will give Edo State to you. Do you want Edo State? And they said, yes. I said, I am. And he backed it up to say, I am the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It was a clear invitation for anarchy, even if you didn't ask anybody, the IG of police, knowing how powerful a president is, they would have, in defense of his statement, done whatever they needed to, and that's exactly what they needed. That's what they did. You can imagine when Herod made the statement publicly, and the daughter came to him and said, when you dance, I'll give you anything. And the daughter came and said, I want the head of John the Baptist on a platter of gold. The man didn't want to do it, but he had spoken in public. And because he had spoken in public, he didn't have a choice. So I could reckon that as soon as the president made that very unpresidential and statement that I would give you, in this case, the head of Dr. Aswe Godalo and the head of all of the leadership of the People's Democratic Party, and more particularly the head of the thousands of Edo people who voted for Dr. Aswe Ighodalo in this election. Because Dr. Aswe Ighodalo didn't just, he's not the one who contested in that election. We contested in that election because Dr. Asue Ighodalo only represented the gross aspirations and desires of the very many Edo people who reside in the shores of Nigeria and outside the shores of this country. Because people have called to say we should congratulate. And we say we cannot congratulate because the election was nothing, it was not fair, it was not free, and it was not credible. This is not just our opinion. The preponderance of opinion of people who feel the same thing are observers and monitors of people who came to monitor this election. What we want our supporters to know is that we are studying all the results. Because the man who wants to steal, especially when he goes to steal in a hurry, forgets to cover his track. He's only focused. And focus creates blindness. He's focused on what he wants to steal. He's not focused on the booby traps that the owner of the house, has set. So, in their desire to quickly write results, for instance, we know where the old Edo result was written. Somewhere in GRA, not far from our own the campaign office on GRA. We know where the Ego results were, were written. We have seen several cases of overvoting. Fortunately for us, what they gave to themselves as the gap between the APC and the PDP isn't very much. So if you look at the document, what they presented, the Form ECA properly, you will be able to have deductions, several deductions across board that will prove beyond reasonable doubt that Edo people voted for Dr. Asue Ighodalo. There's no greater proof than after the elections. There were no celebrations, even after the announcement. It reminds me of an experience I had when I finished WAEC some 30-something or so years ago. And because I didn't pass, I produced my father a fake result. Only me couldn't celebrate. All my friends were celebrating. I was the only one that could not celebrate, because even though the paper said I had 3 A's and 4 B's and other passes, inside me, I knew that the conclusion, inside me, I knew that it was F. And that's why they could not celebrate. And we saw a few of them waving flag on Airport Road, and nobody waved back to them because the mandate was stolen. And Bible says stolen waters is like gravels in your mouth. It may seem nice when you swallow it, but after a while, you begin to discover that you have stolen another man's property. And I can boldly say, here and now, that Monday Okpebholo cannot be my governor. Not because I have a problem with him, but I have a problem with the process. I don't care. If the people decide to vote a monkey or a donkey, it is their headache. But the process is what I am interested in. If the process were free and fair, and a Dundee, an invalid, a man as president, as governor of Edo State, will be the first person to embrace him, will be the first person to write a congratulatory message. But not when you have a rape of democracy. And by all definitions, the worst election ever that INEC may have ever conducted, especially in this Fourth Republic. There are those who are already jubilating. There are those who are already celebrating. We are the Asue nation. And if this election were conducted 10 times over, and then even when we know the result, even when we know it would have ended this way, I would have voted for Dr. Asue Ighodalo again and again and again. Because I couldn't see myself jettisoning meritocracy at the altar of mediocrity. I couldn't see myself doing it. Even if I knew that they would rig the election, I and the people who are with me, like Joshua said, Joshua 24:15. As for me and my family, we will vote for Asue Ighodalo again and again and again. We are not regretting what we have done. They are the losers. We are the champions. Yes. Because the APC are not up to our level. If they were up to our level, they would not have recruited the police and the INEC to perpetuate a crime. They are cowards, all of them, from their leaders to their followers. And for those who are celebrating, it is sunset at noon, but it shall be sunrise at light. But no matter how long the falsehood tries to prevail, the truth will eventually catch up. Let me quote Patrick Henry in the final analysis that said, as life becomes so sweet and pleasure so desirable, that we must pay for it at the expense of chains and slavery. He says, God Almighty forbid, for I know what all others to choose, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. As for me, the INEC must tell us the true result of this election. So we want to ask our people to be calm. We are studying the situation. We have already noticed a pattern. In a few days, our candidate our leadership will pronounce the next line of action. And your guess is as good as mine, because Latin says, ubi gis ibi remedy. Where there is a wrong, there must be a remedy. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless Edo State. God bless Dr. Asu Egbolalo for his courage, for his doggedness, for his high spirit in the face of the rape of democracy. There are those who are already complaining, even before they have been sworn in. Nobody should call any of us here for analysis. We are in this together. If you decide to rape democracy, those who say their mother will not sleep must be determined to sleep while standing. We will not give up. We will keep fighting. We will keep talking. We will keep struggling. Because like we say, at least those of us who are coming from that side, a luta continua. Victorious. Thank you. Thank you. Shaking